Hey guys, so when I'm a bit stressed, I like to make comfort foods, and so today I'm going to make one of my favorite comfort foods. This is probably the first recipe that I knew without a recipe, and there's not exact measurements per se, but it works. I will be making my version of French toast today. What you will need is, first off, some bread. This is some leftover French bread, but you can use really any kind of bread. I do like using French bread or sourdough. You'll need a bit of milk, some vanilla, some cinnamon, some cooking spray for your pan, a few eggs. You'll need a pan to fry things. You can also use like electric skillets if you have one, spatula device, a smallish bowl with a fork. Before I dip the bread in the mixture, I kind of dry it out using the broil function on the oven. So I'm just going to turn the broil on and we'll slice up the bread and then put it in the oven for about 4 to 5 minutes. You don't want it toasted, but you want it just kind of dried up so it will suck up the juices a lot better. Okay, so we're just going to put these in the oven. You don't really need to put them on anything, just make sure, big crumbs don't fall. We'll just set the timer. While the bread is being prepared in the oven, we're going to make our dipping mixture. I'm making about 4 pieces. They're rather large pieces, but I'm going to use now 2 eggs. This mixture isn't really accurately measured out. It's just kind of by look. So you have eggs here, and usually I take my milk and I just pour until all the yolk is surrounded by milk, maybe a bit more. Once you whisk it together, you don't want it to be too yellow, then you should add a little more milk. Also in this process, if you're dipping bread and then you kind of run out of mixture, you can always just throw in a few more eggs and a bit of milk. I also add some vanilla extract, and this I just kind of give it a little splash, and then whisk it together with a fork or a whisk if you're fancy. Okay, the bread has been pre-stage of toasted. So at this point you want to take your cooking spray or some kind of other greasing agent and just give the pan a bit of a grease so you don't have a sticky mess. You also want to make sure you turn on the heat. I'm going to be about halfway, so 5 or 6 on a 10 scale. What you do is you just take your piece, you dip one side in, kind of mush it around, flip it to the other, and then you pick it up, and just any excess, you don't want it completely drenched, so I like to let it drip out a bit, and then just go to the pan. Once the bread is in the pan, I like to take some cinnamon and just sprinkle it over one side. It depends on the heat of your pan and how well you preheated it, but give it a few minutes and then just start checking the other side, and you're going to check to see if it's brown and it looks cooked before you flip. Okay, so we're starting to see a bit of steam, and the other side is a nice golden brown. Kind of like pancakes, the other side won't take that long to cook. Giving these a few minutes, so it's okay now to turn off the stove and transfer these to a plate. This right here would be fine to eat with just some syrup or no syrup or however you like your French toast. But I happened to pick up strawberries. You can pretty much add any topping you desire, but today we're going to go with strawberry and powdered sugar. We're going to wash and cut up these strawberries and then sprinkle on the powdered sugar. Here's our finished product, and I'm going to go eat this before I drop it on the ground.